Hi, my name is Kasturi Ranganathan. I am going to explain about information technology. There are many things to talk about under the information technology. Heading is computer hardware. What is the computer hardware? You already know that computer system is made up of many different components. Those that can be seen and touched are called as a computer hardware. So here is a definition for a computer hardware. Computer hardware is a physical component that can computer system requires to function. The computer hardware is typically divided into four main categories. Now we will see those categories. So the first one is processing device. The second one is memory device. The third one is input-output device, and the last one storage device. So today I am going to briefly explain about processing device and storage device. Processing device. What is the processing device? The central processing unit CPU is the processing device. The central processing unit, I mean the CPU, carries out the instructions of the computer program, and then it runs a operating system and application. CPU concerned receiving input from the user, and it is also called as a processor, and it's like a brain of computer. Here you can see of the picture of CPU. Now we will see some of the components of CPU. A typical CPU has a number of components. We will see the two main components today. The first one is arithmetic logic unit. This performs simple arithmetic and logical operations. It performs simple additions, subtractions, multiplication, division, and logical operation as well. The second main component of CPU is control unit. Control unit manage the various components of the computer, and mainly all those components of CPU are located on the motherboard. We will see the function of central processing unit. There are only four functions in CPU. So, what are the four simple functions in CPU? Here you can see a picture of a CPU and its function. First function is CPU receives the data through the input unit. Input unit devices such as a keyboard, mouse, joysticks, and etc. And then the second function is CPU process. This input data by processing calculation. After that, the third function is CPU provides the process data through the input unit. Output devices such as a monitor, printer, scanner, and etc. And there is another function and the last function in CPU. CPU stores the process data in the memory unit. That is the last simple function in CPU. So these are the four steps of function happens in a processing unit. So next, how computer hardware components work together. The computer hardware components work together with the help of motherboard. Now we will see about the motherboard. This is called the motherboard, and it also called astrological. So in this you all can see that all computer hardware attached so motherboard. I mean this is a board with essential circuits printed on it that holds many of the computer essential components. From that electrical circuit that components will receive power they communicate. So motherboard, the backbone that ties the computer components together at one spot and allows them to talk to each other. So that's all about processing. Moving on to storage media. So, storage media is a physical device that receives and gain electric data for applications and uses and makes the data available for a retrieval. So now we will see some of the storage media. First, floppy disk. So here you can see a picture of floppy disk. A floppy disk drive is a small device disk drive used in a computer for a data transfer, storage and backup for a small amount of data. So this is considered as a storage media, and the next one is hard disk. So here also you can see a hard disk picture. Hard disk drives this the device used to store a large amount of digital information in computers. So these are suitable from any application which very fast access to the data for both reading and also for writing what in pen drive. So here you can see a pen drive picture. Pen drives are typically removable and rewritable. This is smaller than floppy disk and also this is smallest device in storage media. It has large storage capacity like 64 MB to 64 GB. You can store up to those. These are the devices which we can consider as storage media and very easily use things in storage. So our next topic is data representation. So data can be represented in the following weeks. So data digitalization and binary digits. So there are some of points for these things. What is the data? Can be your name and number of the color in a photographs or notes. It can be anything. So to share the data in digital format, we can use any devices like a computer, smartphone, iPads, and many of them. We can use an electric circuits in use to handle the storage data. So electrical circuit is one of the important part of the considered in this part of digitalization. So electrical devices are used in main manipulable. These types of data can those are manipulated by electric device and then the binary digits. This can be called as the smallest unit of information in the computer. Zero ones, these are the things considered in binary digits. So now we will see about the data encryption. How encryptions can be used to represent data. So data encryption translates the data into the another form or code so that only people with access to the secret key formally called as the description key password can read it. So in this picture you can see how this encryption is represented as a data. Data encryption converts the data from a readable plain text format into an unreadable. This use an uncoded format so the users and processor can only read and process instructed data after it is described. So this is like a key is very secret. Let's move on to the other topic. Representing images. Now we will see how images are represented. So images also needed to be converted into binary order for a computer to process them so that they can be seen on our screen. So digital images are made up of pixels. Each pixel is an image is made up of binary numbers. So there are two types of in representing images. Vector graphics with the back graphics. So in a vector graphics, images can be stored in different way in computers. When you create a drawing PowerPoint, this is a vector graphic. Each line, circle or square is made up of simple processing such as a position, height, weight. So those are things. And then we will talk about bitmap. Graphics, when you take a picture with a digital camera, it is not made up of lights to store this type of image on our computer. The image is broken down into a very small element called a pixel. Each pixel is set to one color. The next second representation. Sounds need to be converted into binary of computers to be able to process it. To do this, sound is captured usually by a microphone and then converted into a digital scene. So there are also two types in it, analog and digital. So some waves are analog, which means that they continuously change. A computers cannot store among signals. They must be converted in order for computers to use, so that is why sound is a presentation. And about digital, anything stored on computer must be stored as a series of binary number or digital. So digital signals are exact and square. So moving on to next. What is the data compression? Data compression is a process of encoding, restricting, or otherwise modifying data in order to reduce its size. Fundamentally, it involves recording information using fewer bytes than need. Original representation. So, how compression can aid the storage of data and data images or sounds. So main advantage of compression are reduction in storage hardware, data transmission time and communication bandwidth. So this can result in significant cost. Serving compressed file regulates significantly less storage capacity than uncompressed file, meaning a significant decrease in expenses for her storage. So let me tell a popular lossy compression method for images is the TPEG, which is very most images on the internet are TPEG images. So that's all about representation. Now we will move on to logic gates. Logic gates are used to make decisions so that electronically outputs turn on when the current logic equation have been applied. Each logic gate has a name that helps to describe how different input will determine the possible output. There is a table called truth table. If you study the truth table, you will understand the logic gate fully and how to it work on it as well. So this truth table is used when planning and designing which logic gate to use, so that would be easy for you all to do some logical questions. So logical regulator the flow of electricity through an electrical circuit by receiving and modifying binary input and output. So logical gates are typically or practical circuits that make an electrical logic operation possible. There are things we can see in logic gates mainly, and there are some basic logic gates are categorized into several types. As you can see here, it is mentioned here are the types of logic gates. So now we will move on to our new chapter, computer network. Computer network. What is a computer network? Network is collection of a computer servers, mainframe network devices, or other devices connected to lots of data sharing. That is what computer. For an example, network is internet which connected millions of people all over the world. So nowadays networking is very important for everything, for studies, for lots of things. So now we will see some of a type of computer network is mainly for four types. So here you can see a type of computer network. Now we will see each and every type of network. Personal area network. This network arranged within an individual person, typically within a range of 10 meters, and personal network is used for connecting the computer device for a personal use known as computer area network. The most important thing is a personal area network. Area of 13 feet, so there are many personal computer devices which help to develop the personal area network as like laptops, mobile phones, media player and PlayStation, and there are a lot. And then we will move on to the next network, local area network. So this is a group of computers connected to each other is a small area such as a building, office, schools, home. So this network mostly used for connecting two or more personal computers through a communication. Mediums such as like a twisted path India. This is less costly as it is filled with expensive hardware such as Herb's network. Ethnical cable and the data is transformed at an extremely faster rate in local area network. And we will move on to the next network, metropolitan network. This network covers a large geographic area by interconnecting the different land from a large network, and this is also has a higher range than local area network. This is used in our society more than the other networks. And then moving on to the next network. What in your network? So this network also quite bigger network than the other networks. This network is widely used in field of business, government, and for education. So those are the types of computer network. So moving on to the next, hardware and software in computer system. Hardware and software components in computer system. Hardware is what makes a computer system to work. Without hardware, computer cannot function properly. So, computer network system is made up of software and has link protocols that allows set of computer network that can be used. So there are lots of components. Computer need a networking hardware in order to connect to each other. Routers, switches are all piece of networking equipments that can perform slightly different tasks. So now we will see some of the components of hardware: servers, clean space, transmissions, media, connecting devices. These are the hardware components of our network. So now we are seeing some of the software components. Software components. Here are the components. Networking operating system protocol side. So networking operating system is typically installed in the server and facilitate workstations in network to share files, database, application, and etc. Now we will move on to the next topic, transmission media. What is the transmission media? Is communication channel that is used to carry the data from transmitted to the receiver through the electronic signals. Here are some of type of transmission media. In this picture you can clearly see the parts of transmission media. So we will talk about guided media. In this type, the signals can be transmitted directly and in a part of through a physical links. So this is what guide media. The main feature of guide media mainly included secure, high-speed, and used in small distance. So these type media are different into a three part. Here are the three part of guide media. It is the main picture of this media is less secure and the signal can be transmitted through the air and application for a large distance. This guide media is also divided in three parts. Now we will go to our next topic. The last and final topic is World Wide Web. World Wide Web, which is also known as a web, web servers and connected to local computers through the network or internet. These are the web papers, slides can be connected, content texts, pages, digital images, audios, videos, and etc. Users can access the content of these sites from any part of the world over the internet while using the devices such as a computer, laptop, cell phones, smartphones. Here are the some of the type of worldwide basic World Wide Web model: universal resource, individual hypothetical transfer protocols, hypertext markup language, and interactive worldwide. With body, these are the types of World Wide Web. This is my presentation and thank you. Thank you.